Okay, Coach, great run the first half, started slow the second half. So what was it the first half that went so well, and maybe what things started to go awry the second half?
Yeah, I mean, we certainly took our foot off the gas the second half. I mean, that's, sometimes that's human nature. We talked about it at halftime to try to fight it, but you could definitely, we weren't nearly as aggressive at the offensive end, especially in transition. And we got a little tired, I thought, as the second half wore on. We were short a couple guys in the second half, so we couldn't get some subs in and stuff the way we normally would. So we had to kind of just, slow it down, and you got closer, obviously, where you start to feel it a little bit. But I thought the guys did a nice job those last couple minutes of making enough plays to finish it off.
That fatigue, especially against their defense, which chases you all over the place, does that add to it a little bit?
Yeah, I mean they're aggressive, they're physical. Even some of their offense, because they're so aggressive in transition, pushing the tempo that you got to sprint back every time. It's not like a team that's walking the ball up the floor against us. So all five guys, whether they get there or not, it doesn't matter. You still got to go sprint and exert that energy. So, but again, I thought the first half, I thought defensively the guys were terrific. We're really locked in. We took a lot of their driving angles away and did a nice job there. And then we were able to get steals, our defensive rebounds, and get out in transition and push. And it started off really kind of a slower game, 7-4 or whatever. And then I thought the defense kind of turned our offense up, and we were able to get some transition threes and transition layups. And Javon and JP Sincere, he got his first couple of threes of the year. So so that was good to see too.
Coach, one of your biggest goals coming into your position was to get this atmosphere back to what it was and get the crowd really influential with the team. And now that's kind of become a reality as today. So how does that feel to achieve that so soon in the season?
Yeah, it was great to see a huge crowd today for a noon game with, not the greatest weather in the world. So for everybody to get out there and be able to show up and support the team, I thought it was great to see. And I thought in the first half really energized us and stuff. It was a great atmosphere. Second half we didn't give them a lot to cheer about, but when we needed them again, they rallied back up and were able to kind of push us to the finish line.
Coach, the last two games, Javon, I think, has been your leading rebounder. Just seems like it's something else he's adding to his game. But, I mean, point guard is leading rebounder, you'll take that? Or is there something there along with that?
Yeah, I don't care who gets them as long as we get them. That's the only thing I care about. But John Vaughn's done a nice job the last couple games. I mean, 11 rebounds at Kansas. I can't remember. I think it was 9 or 10 defensive at Kansas and then 10 defensive again today. So that's a big part of our team rebounding that we've been talking about, for months. Like we have to be a good defensive rebounding team, and he's a big part of that. So, back-to-back 11 rebound games, that's like we told him, it's not just the points he scores that makes him so valuable. He makes a lot of winning plays, and that's some of those right there, those defensive rebounds.
Coach, you mentioned Sincere. Do you just let out a little sigh of relief, like he finally gets the monkey off his back? Because he just told us like he shoots threes all the time in practice and makes them. Is it just like he finally got one, and then of course he makes the net?
Yeah, I mean, throughout the summer, he shot, 35% from three. So I think it was just one of those things. He got off to a slow start, and it started to get in his head a little bit. And sometimes you just need see one go in a game, and now he can just, go back to just relaxing and playing. Because he was still making them in practice. It wasn't like, hey, he's not making them in practice. It was just a little bit of a mental block, and that happens. I mean, it can happen with free throws, threes. Like you can just have, players go into a little bit, of a gap there between some makes sometimes. He just had a bigger gap than some others.
So there's that one quote about that. Would you rather him have the confidence to still shoot even though he hasn't made one, rather than not have any confidence and not want to take the shot and just pass it away immediately?
No, we do. I want him to keep shooting. Like I told him, I want him to shoot the ones he wants. There was maybe one in the first half that wasn't the one. But outside of that, when he's open and if he lines up and he feels good about it, I want him to shoot it. We need him to score. We need him to be a threat, and he is a threat. And we know that from from practice and stuff, but now he's got to prove it out on the floor. And tonight, that's a big deal for us. When now all of a sudden it's another guy you're going to have to guard because he can make them and he will make them as we move forward. I have no doubt of that.
It's the exact opposite with. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Bob.
It's the exact opposite with Powell, who, makes everything he throws up there almost. When did you realize, as a freshman, he was going to be able to actually be your second best scorer, maybe?
I don't know where we thought he would be our second best scorer, but from the moment he walked on campus, he's pretty confident. He doesn't have a mental block in shooting threes right now. If anything, I think he's growing in confidence every single day. What he's done a really good job of is he's learned to slow himself down, and that's true of a lot of freshmen. I think even when he was making some early in the year, some of his inconsistencies was like in the Bahamas, he struggled a little bit. He was just a little rushed. He was trying to hit 5 threes on one shot, and now he's done a much better job the last couple of weeks of. Like we've talked to him, you're 6'6", like just slow down and shoot it like you're playing horse. And if they block it, it's going to go out of bounds. It's still going to be our ball. And I think he's done a nice job with that.
Your version of the pipeline, what are the most important things you're teaching everybody? What things have to work in order to be successful, controlling the gaps, keeping them controlled?
Yeah, it's a fine balance because we want to make sure we're keeping people out of the paint, which requires guys to be in gaps, but we also want to be tough and physical of not letting catches, out on the wings especially. So I think, and that takes time to grow into as a defense because you want me in the gap or do you want me, denying this? And I think they've really grown as a defense of being able to be aggressive and disruptive, but not getting so spread out that now all of a sudden there's driving lanes, for where we're exposed a little bit because of our physicality and pressure.
Just what they have to do change according to who you're playing or what opponent they might be on that side of the court?
Yeah, a little bit. Today was like a heavy gap game. Like, do not let them in the paint. That's how they score layups. That's how they get to the free throw line. And again, the first half, I thought we were great at it. The second half, I thought we got stretched a little bit, and they were able to get downhill a little bit more. And they went to a few more ball screens and things in the second half that we didn't handle as well as we would have liked. But overall, I thought the guys did a nice job, just taking away, their transition opportunities. I thought we were pretty good there for the most part, and then keeping them out of the paint, especially in that first half.
Coach, obviously Oklahoma State tonight, kind of a physical style defense, trapping, hard hedging, and sometimes basically just running 2 guys out of Javon. You've kind of seen that throughout the season to this point. Do you expect to see kind of more of that, or that style of play? And you got to, just kind of talk to Javon and tell him, hey, this is what probably going to be like the rest of the year.
Every team we play is going to have their own defensive approach and philosophy. The Houston's, Iowa State's going to be, up there and aggressive and physical, and other teams are going to play in gaps. And so I think it's just more about us just adapting as an offense. Today, like there's not. When teams are denying a little bit, it's hard to get the ball reversal. So the ball is going to get stuck because they're not going to let you just swing it. So you have to be able to go make plays. And there were times where we were really good at it, similar to Kansas. There were times where, hey, we got Vaughn doubled and we were able to make the plays out of it. And then there's times where we get a little stagnant. And that was true tonight. And it was also true, down in Lawrence. So those are things we just want to continue to get better at. Like how do we continue to find different ways to attack the pressure?
How does he handle it? I don't want to say mentally, but when it becomes more constant, I'm sure it gets frustrating. But it seems like he's the kind of guy that can really handle it and adjust to it.
Yeah, we're gonna keep going to him. So I hope so. Yeah, he's been incredible. Like he's playing at high level. I think he's one of the best guards in the country. And he's playing to that.
Darren, through the years, you've had some teams that were really successful guarding the three-point line. And so far, so good here. I guess what do those past teams have in common? And then what do you see that this group shares so far?
Yeah, I think this group, especially defensively, like we got great versatility. I think we got good athleticism there. And the guys do a really good job of being able to be in a gap, but then also be there on the catch, and that takes a talent and some time for them to get there. But this group is, I think, figured that out fairly quickly. They're able to, we call it make one movement, so you're already in position, as opposed to trying to get in position and then it's too late. Now you're trying to reach at the ball and get back out. Whereas if we're loaded up, kind of see the ball in front of us, and now we can play just with one movement and get out to those shooters a little bit better.
How nice was it to get Imani back on the court, at least for a few minutes, both as a team and then for him to get him out there?
Yeah, it was good to get him out there. He hadn't been able to practice much, so we're limiting his minutes a little bit. But I thought he did a nice job under the circumstances. He made a couple baskets there in the second half. So, hopefully that will continue to get better for him and continue to grow those minutes back out again.
Did KJ ever come back out after he took that fall?
No.
Is there an update on his status?
Not right now, no.
What can you say about Andre's play as of lately, especially in these past two Big 12 opening games, how he's performed for you?
Yeah, he's been terrific, especially defensively. He's been disruptive in there. He had another big shot at a key time tonight again as they're starting to, make the game a little bit tighter. And even in the pick and roll game, he's doing a nice job there too. I think he's one of those guys we feel very comfortable. If they're going to put two on the ball, we can throw it to him in the short roll, and he can make the right reads from there. So he's continuing to get better and better and more confident each game.
Going back to Mike's question about three-point defense, is that a non-negotiable for you essentially? Your team have to be good at three-point defense?
Not really. I think it's probably just a product of how we guard that kind of leads to that. Hopefully the next game they don't make 15 of them, and then we talk about why we didn't guard the three. But I think the guys just do a nice job of being able to do both, cover the gaps, and then also be able to get out to those shooters. And a lot of times shooters are coming off of down screens and things like that. So that urgency and want to try to get through screens and not get hung up, I think is a big part of that too.
Anything else?
One more on Arizona. Obviously, it was an unusual conference game earlier, but you see somebody a second time around. How's it different now that you sort of have some familiarity with what Arizona's done?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is we went from 80 degrees to 20 degrees, so it's a big adjustment. I haven't had a chance to watch them yet, but Corey has the scout and stuff. He says playing really well right now. They've changed a little bit of what they were doing in the Bahamas, and I said they're playing at a pretty high level. So we'll take from we're a little bit different too with our personnel. So we got to take that game, learn what we can from it, but also apply it to how does that work for how they're playing right now and how we're playing.
Coach, you were talking yesterday about getting this team to focus on the next game, turning the page quickly, but now that it's all said and done, were you worried about any kind of letdown at all going into this game?
I worry every game. So it's I'm not great at taking each opponent and going like, oh, we'll win this one. Yeah. Again, that's you come off a game like that. A lot of people were excited about it, and rightfully so. But I felt good about this group, though. They practiced well. You didn't feel that. I didn't feel that from them at all. But it is sometimes hard when you can read your own press clippings and you go around town and everybody's telling you, a great game, good job, yeah. So, but again, I give credit to our guys. They certainly didn't come out and play like that. The way they came out and approached the first half, I thought you could tell they were very engaged and in tune to what was going on right in front of us.
Judge, thank you.
Thank you.